Good day everyone, I'm Nina Marcy Binalay from BS2B. So now I will discuss the Module 18 in Eduk 1, which is entitled Middle Childhood, or what we call the Primary Schooler. So allow me to start to share with you the physical development of primary schoolers. Physical development involves many different factors, which is the height, weight, appearance, visual, hearing, motor abilities. So in this stage, primary school children experience many different changes as they go through this stage of development. It can be natural or environmental changes. We all experience this physical development. Physical growth during the primary school years is slow but steady. So what does it mean? Because children do not usually grow in a constant way, they usually grow in a burst. A change in their height, weight can occur in a short amount of time. During this stage, physical development involves first having good muscle control and coordination. For example, able to run, jump, climb, skip, and play ball. Second, developing eye-hand coordination, because in this stage, child is just beginning to put things together and eye-hand coordination develops. Third, having good personal hygiene, because in this stage, we are starting to be aware on our body hygiene. Fourth, being aware of good safety habits. In this stage, children know safety habits like know their name, address, and like teaching them to do not eat anything given by a stranger. In this development stage, children will have started their elementary grades, specifically their primary years. They experience this during grades 1 to 3. Primary school years, children are extremely active because most of activities in traditional schools are sedentary. They often release their unusual amount of energy in some forms of nervous habits because, like for example, while a child is nervous, they start fidgeting, biting their nails, and chewing their pencil. Primary school age children get fatigued more easily because of physical and mental exertions, both at home and in school. So, activities should be alternated between strenuous one and relaxing or quiet activities. So, what are the activities that we give as relaxed and quiet? For example, storytelling time. Then, math period. Kasi diba, kapag nagbibilang tayo, tahimik lang tayo because we don't want to disturb us. So, next, let's proceed to the physical development of the primary schoolers. So, we have here height. This period of gradual and steady growth will give children time to get used to the changes in their bodies. An average increase in height of a little over 2 inches a year in both boys and girls will introduce them to many different activities that they can now do with greater accuracy. So why it is happen? Because in this stage, most children have a slimmer appearance during their middle childhood than they did during their preschool years. As a child enters, body size increases, the amount of body fat stays relatively stable or giving her a thinner look. Next is weight. Weight gain average about 6.5 pounds a year. Why? Most children will have a slimmer appearance compared to their preschool years because of the shift in accumulation and location of their body fat. Although girls tend to develop additional fat cells relative to muscle cells. Also in weight development during their middle childhood, a child's legs are longer and more proportioned to the body than they were before. Next, let's proceed to a number of factors could indicate how much a child grows or how much changes in the body will take place. First, genes. Second, food, climate, exercise, medical conditions, diseases, and illnesses. As you can observe on your body during your middle childhood, our body started to change, like namimili na tayo ng mga food that we eaten. Nagsisimula na rin tayong makaranas ng sakit, like for example, hika, sakit sa puso, like that. Naapektuhan na rin tayo sa climate. At unti-unti nang lumalabas sa atin yung mga traits na nakuha natin sa genes ng ating family. Next is the bones and muscles. Children years are the peak bone producing years. Bones grow longer and broader. This is the best time for parents and teachers to educate children of good dietary and exercise habits to help them have strong and healthy bones throughout their lives. Replacement of primary teeth, also known as baby teeth with permanent teeth, occur around age 6 to 7 years up until age 12. Most children will have all their primary teeth replaced. Nutrition and physical activity is an example of lifestyle factors, right? So that lifestyle factors can substantially influence the increase of bone mass during childhood. Why? Because children bones have proportionally more water and protein-like materials and fewer minerals than adults. Ensuring adequate calcium intake will greatly help children in strengthening bones and muscles. Next, large muscle control is at bigger play over the fine motor because may still encounter difficulty like, for example, holding a pencil properly or coloring inside the lines. Next, bone and muscle growth are still not complete during this stage. That is because most activities which use heavy pressure will be very difficult for growing bones, muscles, and ligaments. The best example for this is if students are engaging in too much strenuous activity. To test the strengths in this matter, teachers may suggest or provide more coordinated physical activity or competition or relate players during sports or games. So next, let's proceed to the next slide, motor development of primary schoolers. Young school-age children are gaining control over the major muscles of their bodies. Most children have a good sense of balance. Why? Because in this stage, children like testing their muscle strength and skills. Sometimes they pretend and fantasize less, often because they are more in tune with everything that is happening around them. Also, children during this stage love to move a lot, like they want to run, jump, tumbling, roll, and dance because their gross motor skills are already developed. Next is performing unimanual and bimanual. First, what is unimanual? So, unimanual is requiring the use of one hand. So, what about bimanual? Bimanual is requiring the use of two hands. Using unimanual and bimanual, activities becomes easier. Why? Because children graphic activities such as writing and drawing are now more controlled but still developing, like for example, they can print their names and copy simple designs, letters, and shapes. They also know how to hold pencil, crayons, utensils correctly but with supervisions. Next, motor development skills include coordination, balance, speed, agility, and power. So first, let's talk about coordination. What is coordination? It is a series of movements organized and timed to occur in a particular way to bring about a particular result. According to Strickland 2000, why? Coordination is belong to the motor development skills of the primary schoolers because the more complex the movement is, the greater coordination is required. Like for example, children develop eye-hand and eye-foot coordination when they play games and sports. Next skill is balance. Is the child's ability to maintain the equilibrium or stability of his body in different positions. Do you know that balance is a basic skill needed especially in this stage when children are very active, because during this time, children have improved balancing skills. So we have here a two balance, the static and dynamic balance. But first, what is static balance? This is the ability to maintain equilibrium in a fixed position, like balancing on one foot. So how about dynamic balance? This is the ability to maintain equilibrium while moving. Next is speed. It's the ability to cover a great distance in the shortest possible time. Next is agility. It's the one ability to quickly change or shift the direction of the body. Do you know that speed and ability are skills that extremely important in most sports? Next is power and the ability to perform a maximum effort in the shortest possible period. So development of this skill may spell the difference between success and failure in future endeavor of the child. Next, let's proceed to the example of fine motor skills. So we have here zippers, and lace shoes. In this stage, children know how to do these things. Next, able to learn piano or violin. Next, control pencil with the finger and thumb movement comes from the elbow. Next, they know how to write and draw with more control, but writing looks choppy and uneven. So that is the example of fine motor skills. Next is the example of gross motor skills. First is hop, skip on alternating feet, jump, rope, walk on a balance beam, throwing, catching, and kicking become smoother. Begin to participate in organized games and sports. Then, last, we have here skate, sky bike, and other specialized skill with training. So that is some example of gross motor skills. So let's move on to the some issues affecting physical development. So what are those issues? We have here obesity. This is becoming a major concern for parents and healthcare providers since it seems it's becoming a trend. Why obesity in our country always belong to trend? Because according to the World Health Organization, the Western Pacific Organization, the Philippines is not spared from this scenario, and the results of the national survey are showing slow but increasing childhood overweight and obesity rate. So the prevalence of overweight among children 5 to 10 years old has risen from 5.8% in 2003 to 9.1% in 2013. Overweight and obese children are likely to stay obese well into their adulthood, and they are more prone to develop non-communication diseases like, for example, diabetes and some cardiovascular diseases at much as younger age. Next issue is childhood nutrition. Malnutrition remains a major health issue in the Philippines. This has been proven to have a serious effect on the physical and mental development of children. Why? Because for most Filipino children, poverty is the chief reason why they do not get nutrients and energy required for their age. They do not eat a nutritious food like fruit and vegetables, but they eat junk foods. Next issue is sleep. Primary school age children need 9 to 11 hours of sleep every day, including daytime naps. Sometimes due to their schedule in school, midday naps or siesta is not possible anymore because of the children may need to go bed earlier rather than nap. Because in today's society, children increase sports affiliation, extracurricular activity, watching television, spending time using internet computers, intake caffeinated products could result to difficulty in falling asleep or disruption in their sleep. Let's proceed to the next slide, which is the implication to child care, education, and parenting. We have here two major ways to help primary school age children to be physically healthy. First is provide them with good condition. Second, involve them in coordinated and age-appropriate physical activities. We have here some examples that healthcare providers, teachers, and parents must do. First, encourage children to join or enroll them to related programs during summer or their free time if children show interest in a particular activity or sports. Second, advocate them better nutrition in foods provided in the school canteen by providing healthier options or accessible healthier products. Third, provide a balance between rigorous physical play activity and quiet activity in designing classroom activities. Fourth, create exercise plan for children. Not only does it promote motor skills but also improves strength and endurance, builds healthy bones and muscles, and increases positive emotions. Then next, maintain a daily sleep schedule and consistent bedtime routine. Make children's bedroom conducive for a peaceful sleep. Lastly, if possible, keep computer and TV out of the bedroom. So that's all. Thank you. So that is the end of my report from Module 18. I'm Nina Marcy Binalay from BSED 2B.